Another love reading. So you are being charioteered out of a situation where you were actually trapped in some form or another, whether it was emotionally, psychologically, or some kind of like physical entrapment of some kind, like maybe a marriage entrapment. There was some kind of a bond that you were in that you thought was soulmate, that you thought was reciprocal, that you thought was beautiful. And it was actually the devil. Do you see these two? There's two of cups and then the devil here. The truth of the situation was that you were actually bound in a way that was disempowering for you. But you didn't understand that because you were focused on the beauty, focused on the beautiful aspects. And this had something to do with you not understanding the full breadth, the full potential of your capacity to experience love and reciprocity. So it's almost like when you just don't know what's possible, you just don't know how good it can be. So you put up with a situation that maybe even intuitively you know is there's something wrong with it, but you are focused and devoted to it anyway. This is very common, especially in like empath narcissist situations, but even in much less diagnosable situations. You know what I mean? Like just a lot of relationships end up being like this. A lot of women in particular end up taking on this role where they stay in something a lot longer than they should. And I don't want to just say women do that, because men also can be can have the same kind of patterning in relationships where they stay a lot longer than they should. And the things that were holding you back from actually seeing this clearly and from noticing what was actually being entrapping in the situation, it was in some way having to do with your own shadow and your own, like I said, it may have been limiting beliefs about what you knew to be possible for yourself and in the world. And that's not something that you should judge yourself for. It's just a matter of like, at a certain point in your life, you only had a certain amount of capacity or a certain amount of imagination and like understanding of what was possible. And since then, and this is why I'm saying now it's different, because the chariot and the star, it's like the divine has liberated you from this situation and or is liberating you from this situation. And so don't judge yourself for not understanding the reality of what this dynamic was. This was a false soulmate. It's a false twin flame. It's a false whatever. It was like an illusion. And you stayed, look. I can't. So King of Pentacles reversed, Five of Cups reversed. What this situation was, very clearly, is someone who portrayed themselves to have their shit together, portrayed themselves to be someone who was in fact committed to you, who was in fact willing to like build with you and actually had the stuff to do it and actually was like devoted and caring and, you know, physically showing up and emotionally showing up. But the thing is that was like a facade. In the reverse, this is not real. And you were consistently disappointed, and you had moments where you were like, what? And the facade was obviously there. But like I said, because you were so focused on the devotion to what you believed must be the truth, because in your heart is pure. So you expected purity back. And you stayed focusing on the positive. So this is the thing. There were enough disappointments where you actually, the truth would have required, like if you were living not in illusion, living in clarity, you would have actually seen the disappointment and then recognized it for what it was and maybe acted accordingly. But instead you were like focusing on the positive. And this is a beautiful quality to have as a person. That means that you are angled towards optimism. It means that you are forgiving, you are open, you are like, this is a beautiful quality to be consistently attuning yourself towards the positive. However, it can get you in some sticky situations. And this was one of those sticky situations where you stayed basically, you stayed in denial. You stayed positive when you shouldn't have been. And that's, again, not something to judge you. It's just to understand, to have clarity now. Because if you're feeling like, what? Or if you have been feeling like, what? How was I so like hoodwinked or whatever? It's like, you weren't really hoodwinked. It's that your shadow was also involved in this situation. And part of going through this experience was you learning about your own shadow. The star has come in to guide you out of this. Like I said, the chariot is like, get in, loser, we're going. Like we're getting the fuck out of here. And the star has been your faith and your hope and your attention to the divine through all of this. Your prayer. You're like, I'm going to put this in the divine's hands. And the divine's like, right on. Okay, then let's go. And it's illuminating things for you. Even though you might still be in the dark about certain things, trust me, this is your wish fulfillment. Like getting out of this situation is 100% part of your sacred path, part of your sacred journey. And yeah, I think there are things that you still don't know. There still is a lot of darkness around. The star is funny because the star is like, these are lights that are very far away and they're in the blackness of space. And so you are moving on faith now, and you are also moving on what you know to be true. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like you've put your sights on things that are inspiring and are divine and that make you feel inspiration and make you feel a kind of faith in the universe. And I also think that you've opened yourself up to the like marvel of the universe, like the mystery and the grandness of it. And you've surrendered to the journey. You really have surrendered to the journey, and you know that you're going to be taken to where you need to go. This person was really trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and it really keep you in it. This is interesting too, is like they were trying to actually keep you in a state of disappointment, or keep you in a state of like being depressed and confused about yourself and like struggling emotionally. Like there was something like struggling emotionally, and what they were doing is they were trying to upend your perspective on the situation so that you could feel like unhappy and depressed. And I think it was a way of controlling you. And it feels really disgusting to have to explain that, because can you imagine? Okay, let's just take a second to imagine being like that. To imagine being a person who does that to someone that they love, or does that to someone that they say they love, like, or it's just to anyone, frankly. But imagine doing that to someone you love. Like that's actually insane. But maybe it's not insane. Like it's like if someone is so caught in the shadows of their own being and is like low-key being played by demons, do you know what I mean? How else can they function, right? Like this is the kind of energy that's coming from someone who is like deeply fucked up somehow inside, and they are struggling. They are trapped. Like they are not aware that they are trapped. And so they perpetuate the trap. They're like, stay down here with me. And if they see that if you're so pure and you have your eyes on the stars and you're like about to become a star, they're like, let me just hold you down. But the divine is obviously not, like, that's impossible. The divine is like, sorry, we're way more powerful than this little stupid idiot who's like just a lowly human, trying to stop someone from doing divine work, like from being, even if it's just being yourself in the world in full light. That is divine work that is necessary. And so God literally has stepped in. And this person, yeah, and it stepped in, but it like the divine moved through you. So you saw things clearly. You eventually saw things clearly, and then you cut off what needed to be cut off. And that is like, your mind is totally tapped into the divine's truth. You had a spirit guide helping you as well. This was a false future faking. Future faking. Yeah, somebody was holding their resources back and trying to make you think that you were collaborating together. But they were actually, either not as capable of offering what they said they were offering, or they were like actually hiding things, or they were restricting things in some way. It's like, what I'm really hearing too is like, it's like someone who is afraid of their own success, or someone who like has a lack mentality, and then is like trying to control other people who might around them actually make things move faster, actually bring in lots of abundance, and then being like trying to control that to almost stop the abundance from happening. But it's all subconscious. Like in that scenario, that would be subconscious for them, because they would think that they do have their mind on money, but like they don't subconsciously. So this was like I said, functioning from a subconscious place, which doesn't excuse it at all, because a lot of people are smart and wise and self-aware enough to sort of note when they might be working from a destructive subconscious pattern. This person is reckless and does not know that. They cannot see themselves clearly. Queen of Wands is like, it's so interesting with all this like future faking, restrictive energy, and yet at the same time asking you to build with them, and actually directing the process, directing how these things need to go, but they don't have the right to do that. You were just like, but wait, what? Like okay, what I'm getting here is the Queen of Wands is so energetically different from this Four of Pentacles energy that it's just like, it's almost funny, because she's just like, what are you doing? Like, what are these, what the hell is going on? And she's just like, this isn't even part of my world. Like, whatever you're trying to do right now is not part of this isn't my vibe. Like, my vibe is to be tapped into my creative power, and to be like a witchy queen, and to like already have everything I need, and to be like incredibly energetically aligned, and like intuitive, and just like powerful. And then this person is like trying to like make it all about financial, or like building something tangible together, but doing it in a way that's like extremely limiting. And your energy is way too fierce for that, like way too creative for that. But you're also a queen. It's like, this isn't like flipsy flopsy creative energy. This is like, I'm already a queen, bitch. Like, what the hell are you doing? You know? Three of Cups in reverse. Like, yeah, there's probably was a third party. I mean, how else can we take that? Like a toxic some kind of like shady or unhealthy social dynamic. They may have been giving attention to others, and you walked away. I think you are, like I said, these queens, queen of boundaries, queen of personal power. Like, you as a witch, you know when something is going down that's weird, that's like weird energy. This Six of Pentacles with Three of Cups reversed is definitely giving in the wrong places, like giving people resources and attention that they shouldn't be, like going around and sharing their energy, resources, wealth, whatever, with people that aren't like you, that don't really deserve this situation. And it's shady behavior. It also seems to be like a misguided social, oh my God, what's the word that I'm looking for right now? Not role, but like, it's like they thought that by acting in this way that they were being like somehow charitable and like the financial leader in their community, that there was something else about like charity here, where they thought of themselves very highly and they see others as being lowly, as being below them, and it has specifically to do with money. And this is a backwards social view. So it's like with the Three of Cups upright, it's like this is harmony and fun and equality, and like it's like women having fun, right? Like this is like that means that the society must be healthy, right? But this is like an unhealthy social concept, or an unhealthy social like dynamic or power dynamic that this person was like rooted in. So they thought that they were like this money lender, and that everybody else around them, or maybe you or something, was like supposed to take from them. And so I think this has something to do with their tendency to control, because they for some reason thought that they were given that role. It's bizarre too, because the divine has not given them that role. This was like a weird self-concept. Like I said, the King of Pentacles in reverse with this Six of Pentacles is like, where did you get the idea that you are this powerful? Like, where did you get the idea that you have this big daddy role? Because like you obviously don't. You're obviously not able to create this Ten of Pentacles. You are actually in this Four of Pentacles. Like you don't have a lot. So where is this like strange self-concept coming from? Six of Wands reversed. Ooh, this was going to always be an unsuccessful situation. You were always going to be required to walk away from this. It's better that you do now while you still have this energy. The Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords. Like I said, I think the divine had helped scoop you out of this situation anyway, but I think that like, you know, it was definitely for the best. Yeah, there was just too much that had happened where people had won where they shouldn't have won, and people had lost in ways that were unfair. Someone was like stealing mental. It's like they were stealing ethically. Totally not that. That's not what I meant to say. They were stealing, how do I put this? They were stealing the ethics of the situation. Now let me explain what I mean by that. It's like they were claiming through mental fuckery, through mental processing, mental battle, like with you and with others, that they in fact deserve to win, that they were the winner in this. And I don't know why ethics came through. So it's like they believed that they were ethically the winner in this situation. Do you know what I mean? But as we know with the Five of Swords, they won unjustly. They won through like cheating or tactics or manipulation or some other way where like these other people lost, and they're just like really thinking there's something wrong with them that they lost. But in fact, it's just because this person is like fucking like sneaky or shady, and that they will win at any cost. Whereas the other people, it's like we're fighting in a fair way, and then they lost because they were not employing tactics. And then that was the illusion. That was like the intellectually looking at this situation, it looked like that for a second, or you felt that way, you thought about that way in your mind. Okay, this is the end of the suffering for you, and time to shine, time to feel beauty, time to feel excited again, time to get back into the seat of your joy. And you've done a lot of grieving, a lot of anxious thinking around this situation, and the sun is coming in to illuminate all of that, to like the light's coming into your dark room. It's like daylight again. You're seeing things the way that you need to see them. Your mind is calming. You're literally being infused with like play energy and vitality and joy. And that is like actually totally healing the situation. It's healing your wounds from the situation, your psychological wounds. It's just like a total shift out of this hideous kind of like entrapment energy that was causing you psychological anguish. And now you're not being psychologically anguished anymore, because the sun has come to warm up your life, to warm you up, to make you remember that everything is like wonderful again. And yeah, and you're looking over your horizons being like, okay, like, you know, what's next? Like, and there's something really hopeful about that. There's something really, there's also something bittersweet. And so I understand that you were probably feeling bittersweet about this too, that you're feeling like, it's like, okay, now what? There's this like big vista of open potential. But also there's some things coming in that you know, you're like, these things are still in motion. Like you set in place some manifestations even while you were in this situation that you're still waiting to show up. And that's what this Three of Wands is kind of telling us, is like, it's time to celebrate because these ships are really coming in. And you just need to move on. That's part of it. There's something about like, just, you have to accept that endings are endings for a reason, and that you're moving into calmer waters now. I think you still in some way mentally give power to this person because it was so destructive psychologically for you. Like this experience was so destructive psychologically that you still give power to this person. It's still like in some ways hard for you to allow it to fully end psychologically. And you sometimes still don't see the full truth of the situation. And that's because they have created, like, they are a domineering force in your mind. And they have actually, in some ways, like, controlled you. And so the process of psychologically healing from this involves you, first of all, walking away. And you have to stay connected to the emotional disappointment of the situation, because for some reason staying connected to the emotional disappointment and the emotional lack of, like, it was not going to ever make you happy. So if you stay connected with that, with like what was missing, what was lacking in the situation, then you will be able to navigate through, like, across the waters of this ending, and you'll eventually, like, you will get there. Like, this isn't like a permanent stuck situation at all. In fact, you already are done with the worst of it. So it's just about remembering to stay connected to your emotional path and to what you know is going to give you fulfillment, what's going to give you your, like, Nine of Cups, 10 of Cups kind of thing, where you feel personally satisfied and then you feel genuinely supported and fulfilled by your relationships and family and community. And staying connected to the emotional experience is actually really important for you to move psychologically across the river Styx, so to speak, to get to the other side. Because the judgment is, this whole process that you're in now is actually actively the judgment process. This is you crossing, like, in the land of the dead. Like, this is the death process, and it goes on for some time. And so you don't need to rush yourself through it. You actually just need to take one, do you know what I mean? It's like you're on the raft and eventually you get to the other side. So as long as you just keep pulling the oar or whatever, then you will get to the other side of this. And that this whole unfolding of events is, in fact, the judgment, like, session, I heard. And everybody will get their justice through this experience. So you are being, like, divinely illuminated now, and your attention, you definitely are encouraged to focus on what makes you feel happy and creative and lit up. And yeah, you've learned everything you need to learn through this experience, and it's time, oh my God, it's time to, like, I heard, like, rocket out of this back into your creative life, back into your self-expression, back into having fun. And then look what happens. 10 of Cups. So this is like, yeah, this is you like returning and playing and being really like feisty and fiery in your life, and knowing that, and honestly, like, this is like full fight for what you know you deserve. Fight for what you know you deserve. And by fighting, I mean like being fiery and feisty in belief, and being passionate about this vision that you have for your true love and your true happiness. This is a very passionate, romantic, kind of sexy energy as well. So, by the way, I have been seeing the Knight of Wands as a woman recently, like this figure. I don't think it's a man. Like in my eyes, the way I see it, it's a woman in armor on this horse, and I love that. It's giving like Joan of Arc to me, even though Joan of Arc may have been more like a Knight of Swords. But I don't know. She's very Joan of Arc to me. I love that. You're ready to like emerge from the transformation that this situation has occurred in you, and it's just making you so youthful. It's like you have an endless youth and sex appeal and passion for your world and for the world that you're building and the life that you want to lead. And yeah, you've narrowed your burdens down to just the things that are the most important to you. You're focusing on your creative vision. You're focusing on your plans for the world and the plans in the world. Whoa, this is crazy. Someone was like, someone's watching you. Ah! And you don't know about that. Wow, they're watching you be single, gaining enlightenment through this experience. And this is the person, I think, because they're realizing the tower moment here. And they're looking at all the things that, all the illusions that they have been clouded in. And like, this is so crazy. Like, I'm seeing this as like someone's like actually watching you online, and they're so sneaky about it, and they're feeling so burdened. They're so tired. They're so exhausted. And they're seeing you like this, like this, like this. They're seeing you 10 of Cups, Knight of Wands. They may also, if this is them, they may be thinking, oh, I could come back in all hot and like gorgy and try to create 10 of Cups with you. But I don't really see that. I don't really, first of all, that would be really, really gross, because their energy is still actually really gross. Like, it's really heavy. I don't see remorse. There's no remorse. This is just shock. This is shock and burden and confusion around what happened. And instead of accountability and remorse, it's like, how do I sneak around more? That doesn't make any sense. And it's all being triggered by your single hotness and your like energy that's so beautiful, and the enlightenment that you've been clearly getting from this like uncomfortable situation that you've been put in. Wowie, wowie, wow, wow. This person thinks they're very silly, and they think that this cycle could be still open, that there could be an opening here, and they are not emotionally mature, and they are not looking at their pain. They're not healing their pain, and they don't understand what their karma is yet for this, and they are mentally blocked from. They still have a mental block. It's like their third eye. I'm really getting their third eye is just like, it's just like fucking like calcified. I never talk about that silly stuff like that, like, oh, calcifying your third eye, but like energetically that is actually the vibe here. Like, it is fucking fossilized. This person's third eye is not open. So what I mean by that is that they literally cannot see truth. Like, they don't know what the hell truth is. They're so confused. They don't understand how cycles work. They don't understand how karma works. They don't understand that this experience was like supposed to be and is supposed to be a huge teaching lesson for them, and that it's supposed to fulfill something. It's supposed to come full circle on a teaching that they are supposed to learn in this life that has to do with being emotionally deep and emotionally mature, and they are not. It's refusing. They don't understand that. They don't have they're not surrendering to the pain of this, which would allow them to at least in part, or start to finish the cycle and close the cycle that they have been creating here. And it's just like it's not happening. Oh, everything's reversed in here. Everything's reversed. Queen of Pentacles, Page of Wands, Emperor reversed. Oh, this is like a family vibe of people who are totally mismatched and who are not functioning from like grounded places in themselves. Like they're not focusing from their best energy. They're focusing from like the shadow aspect of their energy. This is like a man who thinks he's really powerful but actually isn't, or is using his power in the wrong way. This is a woman who doesn't understand her worth and is focused on things like beauty and materialism, that in a way that is actually divorced from her own self-worth. So she is like, wow, yeah, oh my God. And that they're connected through this Page of Wands reversed energy, which means that it's like this weird immature sexual energy, or that there's like some kind of fallacy of attraction here, or a very weak and not rooted potentiality. It's like that's all that's connecting these two figures. So either this is someone that is in their life now, and it's like deeply unsatisfying, or this is like if you stayed in this situation with them, that this is what the energy is, right? It's like this unrooted thing. I'm seeing this as like the Page of Wands for me reversed is like right now a little plant that doesn't have deep roots. It's a little plant that cannot create roots. There's nothing actually, this is not the villain. The little plant isn't the villain. It's just the circumstances, the environment, the way that it's being cared for, the way that it actually is being fed. It's not able to, for some reason, grow deep roots. So it is like weak as fuck. And it's going to get ripped out, or it's going to wilt at some point. And it's like, for whatever reason, it's because of the dynamic between these two energies. This stupid, I just want to say this, like stupid Emperor energy, which is like a tyrant. This is a tyrant. They cannot care for things. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. This is like any horrible like world leader that you can think of. This is what this energy is. And then this like weakened feminine who is supposed to be rooted in her like power. Ooh. Whoa. Did you see that? It just like flew out of my hand and she uprighted herself on the ground. So now the card is like upright. Do you see what has happened there? This feminine energy is like, this is what changes this dynamic, right? Or what gets her out of this dynamic is her own flipping of the switch. Like she decides that she is in fact worthy, because this upside down energy is like, it's not her real destiny. It's not truth, right? Like her highest expression of self is to be grounded in her worth and in beauty and in her natural state, her natural proclivities, and taking care of herself and doing things at her own pace and in the cycles of nature, in connection with the cycles of nature, and not letting anybody rush her, not letting anybody tell her or convince her that she is not incredibly valuable, because she is like literally the queen of gold. She's like she's Mother Nature. She's so beautiful. The Emperor, if upright, would be creating a environment for her to flourish, and then that would also allow this beautiful plant, which is the energy of the relationship between them, to grow deep roots and become like the King of Wands. It would become this like incredible force of creative power. But because the Emperor is stuck in this icky energy, and the Queen of Pentacles was or is stuck in this lack of understanding of her own power, nothing can grow. So what happens? She flips out of the situation, and then that is what creates her, it rebalances her energy, it puts her back on her throne, and the Emperor is left with this stupid little plant. I'm sorry, I feel bad for the plant because it's like this is the potential of what this emperor, it's attached to him. It's like the queen actually has nothing to do with this. The queen is, look at all this nature around her. She's like naturally abundant and naturally growth oriented. But so it's almost like she birthed this plant, and then the circumstances involving the emperor made it so that the little plant baby couldn't grow. And the plant baby is like, I'm saying trigger warning now, but we're not talking about an actual baby that couldn't grow, okay? We're talking about the relationship of the relationship. We're talking about the energy of the relationship, the energy of potential growth between these two people. And the reason why it's not growing is because of this fucked up emperor vibe, because of this tyranny, this tyrannical, stupid. I just keep hearing stupid, like an actual dumbass. I don't know. So that's that. What a crazy vibe. Yeah, you are like cutting it off and realizing, oh my God, are you kidding me? I actually knew my worth the whole time with a book. Like, why would I ever? So this is like very, very about reclaiming your worth and cutting off that which is like, we're done with it. There's no mercy, no more fighting, no more fighting. We're going back. We're looking at what we've created. We're looking at our work. We're refocusing on our growth. We're not staying quiet when people tell us to stay quiet. We're done with this resting in silence kind of energy. And we're emerging. Look at that King of Wands. It's like, let me just claim my own masculine. Let me claim my own internal masculine energy. This is my power. My power is inside me, bitch. And look at this, like turning away from the Five of Pentacles energy, Six of Cups reverse. You'll see what comes next. Turning away from this like lack of being warm, this lack of, it's like you're like, this was supposed to be a place where I was taken care of, where I was like nurtured and cared for and worshipped, and it never let you in. This is a place where I was supposed to feel met in my sensitivity and like honored, have my inner child honored, have my creativity honored, and it never happened. So it's like, okay, fuck you. And then you just like, you own the fully grounded, remember, fully rooted, fully grown, creative, masculine force that you were. This is like the relational energy that you were trying to build with this other person. You're able to build that when you leave them. And then you build it within you. And then look what it makes you into, the upright empress. You literally are this. This is the empress. This is your true form. And part of actually being able to step into your true form as empress was stepping away from the toxic, fake emperor. Because by staying in relationship, quote unquote, because was that really a relationship if you think about it, with that silly little Page of Wands energy? By stepping away from the fake emperor, okay, this is so deep. Listen up. Okay, being with fake emperor made you think or experience yourself as not only not an empress, but actually like a reversed Queen of Pentacles, like a reverted self-worth energy. They actually fucked with your self-worth to such an extent that, and they psychologically confused you to such an extent that you didn't know that you were actually the real empress, that you were the real goddess. That is so fucking nuts, because they made you think that by falsifying their emperor energy. Do you see what I'm saying? If this was a true emperor in the upright position, in the positive, fulfilled, like real strong, divine masculine energy, then you would have automatically felt like your empress self next to them. You would have been equals. But because they were all twisted, they lowered your self-worth to such a degree that you went down a few notches and didn't believe in yourself. Do you know what I mean? I hope that clarifies that. I hope that like encompasses what I'm trying to say, because it's really messed up and it's really stupid. I just like, I can't use any other word for some reason. To stay with this person would have been idiotic for you. And they are an idiot. And so it's okay. Do you know what I mean? Four of Wands. You're home, baby. You're home. You got there. It's like I feel like you're like still in the race though. And you're like, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. And it's like all your friends are over here, all your family, like the people who you're supposed to be with, your soulmates waiting behind these beautiful gates. And you're already almost there. You're like, it's not about getting to a finish line and then that's the end of the story. It's not like, and they lived happily ever after type, like, and I don't mean you're not going to live happily ever after. I just mean your story doesn't end like soon. It's that you're passing through a portal, you're passing through a gate, and all of your beauty and your fun and your celebration is just like right there. And you're already on track. You're literally at the gate. So you're just like right now or right about to sort of energetically walk into that space and be claimed by that space, be claimed by the people, your real community, your real, soulmate will be waiting for you there. And this is about an energetic portal, and it has to do with, like I said, remember I was saying this is like a judgment session. This is like the process of crossing the river Styx, of like getting across the river. So you're inevitably being pushed. You can't go back. It's not like you're gonna fall back. It's just that like a couple more rows on the oars, just a couple more. And this moment right now is actually really beautiful because you get to see it from afar. You get to see where you're going from a little bit of a distance, and you get to anticipate it, and you get to look at it from afar and be like, wow, look at that beautiful place I'm going to. It's like you're being able to observe the city from a little bit of a distance so that you can appreciate its beauty. And then you'll find yourself, on its shores, and you'll be integrated into it, and then you'll be living there. But it's like that first moment that you get to see it from a little bit ways away is like really, really special. And you won't ever forget that. It's something that's going to be like a memory for you, but if that's going to be a good memory for you. It's like, remember that time that I was like entering into this beautiful, abundant phase, this beautiful place that felt so beautiful, and I'd just come from a really scary, bad place. And you'll be like, oh, that was really special. That was like a really amazing moment. I'm going to remember that. All right, that's the truth. That's the word. Thank you for listening. And if you need support, you know where to find me. My shit is in the description, and we do tarot readings, but we also do one-on-one somatic sessions, and we do full 2-month coaching program as well, which is really in depth and meant to really help you build capacity as a creative and help you to, actually step by step embody the energy and the life that you really want. So anyway, thank you for being here. Talk soon. Bye.